Hi, I'm Greg from Second Thoughts East Yorkshire. Hope you're okay. How is your anxiety level right now? Do you sometimes feel that if you don't get support that you'll just fall apart? Today I'm going to talk about asking for help and support. Maybe you've managed to reach out for help already. One thing's for sure, it's far from easy to do. To reach out for help when you're feeling absolutely dreadful is so trying. Admitting you need help and asking for it is one of the hardest, most nerve-wracking things that you can do. Excuse me. You're not only accepting something is wrong, which is tremendously scary anyway, but you're also putting your thoughts and feelings into someone else's hands. What if they break your trust and tell others? If it's a family member or friend, are you worried that other people in your personal circle will know and maybe treat you differently? Perhaps you're concerned that others will pity you, or maybe even be a little scared of you. You could be worried about what happens if the person you approach for help ignores what you say and passes the whole thing off saying things like, "It's all in your head," or that awful phrase, "pull yourself together." These are what ifs. They're unlikely possibilities, but they are thoughts that will go round and around in your head as you play out every possible outcome. Let's not underestimate the courage that's needed to ask for help, though. Exposing your vulnerabilities and asking for help is one of the bravest, greatest steps that you can take to improve your well-being and move on. It's admitting that you don't want to feel the way that you do anymore, that you're ready to change and become the person you want to be with a better quality of life. That doesn't make it any less hard, though. On the road to recovery, or managing low mood and anxiety at least, there are a few barriers you need to overcome. The first barrier is admitting to yourself that there's a problem. When any kind of mental health problem starts, it can make you feel like that you're going mad, or perhaps that you're developing a brain tumour or something. Acknowledging that there is an issue to yourself is really very important. Many people don't. The second barrier is admitting that you need help to find a way out of your problem. And the most difficult, the third barrier, is reaching out for that help. As someone who has learned to manage low mood and depression myself, I appreciate just how difficult this is to do. So, how can you go about opening up and accessing the help that can transform your life? Here are a few tips on how you can feel more at ease when you are seeking help. And I'll pop a shortcut to these on a slide at the end and put that on the end of the video so you can keep that to access that for later. So the first tip is, asking for help with small things can get you more used to asking and accepting help with a bigger issue. So you could start with tiny things like, for example, asking someone to make you a cup of tea, or if you need something picking up from a shop, for example. As you get more used to asking for help, even in a small way, it becomes easier when asking for help with a bigger issue. Tip number 2. Try to decide who you want to talk to about your low mood and your anxiety. Sometimes it can be someone close, like a partner or family member, maybe your parents or a sibling, brother or sister. If you have someone close to you who you can talk to, that's wonderful, but for many that's not possible for various reasons. Perhaps a relationship is a little rocky, or maybe the person you would confide in normally has health problems of their own, and you feel like that you'd be burdening them with yours. Some people may prefer to talk to someone who isn't quite so close. But it needs to be someone who won't judge you, but who will really listen to what you have to say. It could be a GP who can listen to you and refer you for specialised support for secondary care. It could be to a counsellor or a worker at a charity such as ours. Some counsellors provide services free of charge, but for most there is a fee. Charities almost always give their services free of charge to individuals. Always check credentials if that is your preferred way. Tip number 3. When you feel you have the strength to reach out and open up, pick the day, the time and the place which will make you feel the most comfortable to do it. For example, mornings can be bad for people on some kinds of medication. Night times may be bad for accessing some services, and other times of day may be awkward for the person who you want to talk to. Perhaps the time's not right for them. So choose your day and time well. Tip number 4. Try to keep your focus on the end result, what it is that you're wanting to achieve by asking for help. Write it down first, so it's lodged firmly in your mind. It's hard to ask for help if you don't know what help you're asking for. You can even have perhaps that written down to hand when you do talk to the person. It can be particularly helpful if it's over the phone too. Keep that in mind when you're experiencing any negative emotions, any doubts or any negative thoughts. Tip number 5. You aren't psychic and you can't tell how someone is going to react or what's going on in their head. Sure, it's okay to accept the possibility of the worries flying around your head, but make sure to accept them merely as a possibility, not as set in stone facts. Always remember that anxiety makes us think about what may go wrong and how bad things will go, and in reality they rarely do. We never really consider that things may go right, do we? So try not to second guess how people will respond before you have even had the conversation with them. There is extensive research that's gone on that shows that generally people do like helping others and find it very fulfilling and rewarding. As well as suggesting that wanting to help others is an innate quality in humans, that's something we're born with, there's a phenomenon called the Benjamin Franklin effect, which essentially states that by asking someone for help, it amplifies trust and likability, forming a bond between you and the other person. So if you reach out to someone asking for help, it establishes rapport with that person. Tip number 6. When you're considering talking to someone, evaluate your choices by looking more closely at the pros and cons of each element that you're going to talk about, including how important each point is. That can help you prove to yourself that you're doing the right thing. You can see this explained in full and get templates from our previous video on making decisions, and it explains much more in detail on that video. Tip number 7. It's important to see that in asking for help, you are making yourself stronger. It's not displaying weakness. Because you're taking actions to manage better, it does make you stronger. So try not to be apologetic as you do reach out for help. Professor Brené Brown has done a few talks on the power of vulnerability and listening to shame, which you can find on YouTube. They're each about 20 minutes long, and they're very interesting. Reaching out is being strong, not weak. Tip number 8. Finally, you may experience what's known as vulnerability hangover, and that's when you feel exhausted and scared after completing a big task and opening up for help. So to help you to deal with that, always bear in mind 2 things. Firstly, why you did it, and that's to make yourself feel better and have a better quality of life. And the second part is really, really very important. Remember that you were worth it. You matter a lot to people. You matter to us, and you matter to yourself. Many thanks for watching this video. I hope it will help you, or perhaps someone close to you. And it'll help you to be able to open up and reach out for help. And that is the beginning of the road to recovery. Please leave feedback on this video if you will. I appreciate it. And indeed any suggestions for future subjects that you'd like to see us cover. I'd particularly like to thank our volunteer, Freya Smithson for all of her hard work researching and preparing the vast majority of this material. Thank you, Freya. I'll be back with more videos soon. In the meantime, take care, stay safe and good mental health. Be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye for now.